Stranger Things began as one of the most interesting shows targeted for both kids and adults that rose to stardom as an instant hit, which continued to cause great influence in the form of funny memes, good music, and nice vibes. However, as the show reached its conclusion, it became less and less interesting. It eventually led to a forgettable ending and a painstakingly 2-hour-long runtime final episode that had me begging for it to end sooner. I began watching right as the season 5 episodes started coming out. The first 3 seasons had me on the edge of my seat at every rising action and climax. It really had me wishing to watch more and more. The series was built on complex relationship dynamics between characters. It focused on the behaviors of kids, teens, and adults, giving each equal treatment. All of it was fueled by interesting and out-of-screen villains. The episodes always had you asking in your mind about what's actually going on. It made you want to find out past what was shown on the screen. But the cracks in the foundation formed as soon as Season 4 began. Season 3 ended on a depressing yet satisfying note. Hopper sacrificed himself to save everyone from Hawkins, Elle, who used her powers for battling evil, lost him, and the rest of the group fought one final challenge, expanding even further with Robin and Erica's contributions. Everyone became friends and lived happily ever after. And then began Season 4. I'm not gonna analyze it in detail, but reviving Hopper was some stupid shit and a terrible way to justify furthering the plot. I will say though, the season had some great moments with the introduction of Alexei, who was an unexpected but nice addition for the time being, Eddie, who was cool and funny yet got killed off for being too likable, and Murray playing a more central role in the plot. But you can't just justify a plot solely by introducing fun characters though. There has to be some form of conflict. And there was, with the reveal that actually Elle's father was alive the whole time, and he somehow figured out how to restore her powers. And then she forgives him for the time being and lets him literally experiment on her. Then we just get an insane truth nuke and learn that while Elle thought she killed everyone in the daycare the whole time, it's retconned that O1, who was introduced 2 seconds ago, was the perpetrator the whole time. Whatever bro. Moving on, this season had an insane cliffhanger ending, implying to the audience that the entire world was about to implode with the opening of the Fortnite Season 4 Rift portals, and then you had to wait for Season 5 to come out. And then it came out and suddenly the whole world was back to normal. It's as if the fake earthquake never happened and everyone was cool again on the street. When thinking about the season, it was such a bore to go through the episodes because at this point I already knew what was going to happen in general. The kids were going to win with no casualties, and Vecna would be destroyed. What I didn't expect is out of nowhere, 08 is somehow brought back to further the plot because the show writers forgot about her for 3 seasons, and if they didn't bring her back, the people would be asking what happened to her, as if there's any reason to care. Since Elle's father died in the last season and the writers forgot how else to put in conflict, they re-added Elle's father, but as a military woman. Then the entire universe is actually about to collapse because Steve's beamer causes a rift in space and time. Adding on, one of the most important things is how many times the group actually ends up being wrong. They're entirely wrong about how the Upside Down works according to Dustin, wrong about who Vecna is, Elle is wrong about who was in the daycare, wrong about Hopper's alive status, wrong about Max's condition. I mean, like, is there ever a time they were actually right? It's difficult to cheer for them when every time they make a theory, they're actually in the opposite direction. Anyway, the final episode concluded with everybody getting what they wanted, even surprisingly Nancy and Jonathan. It is the absolute perfect ending that's completely neutered with not a single action taken to invoke a negative or sad emotion to the viewer. This show had a poor ending. However, if you do want something that's more credible and interesting, just go watch Snowfall, please.